Greetings, I'm Dike Rostant. Welcome back to the TTT News. We are going in-depth on the Chutney Soca Monarch with CEO of Southex Event Management, George Singh. Welcome, Mr. Singh. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you very much for having me on your program tonight.
Our pleasure. Now, it seems as though there have been persons operating from two sorts of paradigms. One, I'm not sure we're able to do this, so let's just kind of wait and see. And the other, there has to be a way to negotiate this. Let us see how we can do it. It seems as though the Chutney Soca Monarch has been one of those in the latter category. How have you all negotiated the pandemic thus far? Because we remember that in 2021, there was also a Chutney Soca Monarch.
Right, so that's where I'd like to start. You would remember, and I would even go further back than that. People would remember that in September of 2020, the Prime Minister announced that there would be no carnival in 2021. At that point, we actually looked at it as an opportunity to create something very different for Chutney Soca Monarch. Here we were now going to try to produce a show that we can actually package. Chutney Soca Monarch is a live show normally in front of a very large crowd. So sometimes when things go wrong, the crowd and the viewers that are looking at the show live would see it. But here we had an opportunity now to create something, package it, and project it to the world in a very different way. So we grasped the fact that there was no carnival in 2021 as an opportunity. And I think we were very successful in 2021 in producing Chutney Soca Monarch because we were able to achieve a number of firsts for Chutney Soca. For example, we were able to bring in Guyana, USA, and Canada in a very significant manner, where we included their artists in the show by them submitting their video pieces, and we included it in from the semi-final stage, moving down to the final. That was one thing that we were able to do. So we were able to expand the footprint of the show throughout the region and throughout the diaspora. The second thing is that we were able to do a Queen of Chutney Soca for the very first time in Chutney Soca, in Chutney Soca Monarch history. So last year we crowned the first Queen of Chutney Soca. So for us, 2021 was a successful year. It may not have been financially successful, but we were able to achieve a lot of things. And the other thing, the fact that we were on YouTube Live, we were able to reach an audience of just under 4 million people in less than 30 days. So for us, it was a huge success.
And looking at that evolution, Mr. Singh, you know, sometimes the persons who like the way that it was, and they give some pushback. What was the hardest part of the shifts and changes that you would have had to do to see the event take place in 2021, even moving towards this year?
So, you know, funny enough, we had absolutely no pushback. We had absolutely no pushback from the artists. I think they worked with us in a way. I mean, we spent an entire day at South Napa, Sapa, producing this show in 2021. So it was a complete day of production. The artists worked with us. They understood what we were trying to achieve. And I think that there was absolutely no pushback. I mean, the only challenge, the biggest challenge we had in 2021 was getting sponsors to buy in to the fact that, okay, we were now doing a show that was not going to have a live audience, and getting them to understand that we were now projecting this show to a much larger audience, which was not only an online Trinidad and Tobago audience, but an international audience. I think that was the biggest challenge.
And having the precedent of 2021 in the bag, you have these experiences. Was it an easier sell this time around in terms of going to sponsorship and saying, these are some of the metrics we're able to say, okay, well, these are the eyes, the unique views, the impressions. So this is where your product can be having an impact?
So 2022, when it was announced that Trinidad and Tobago was doing a taste of carnival and that there was actually going to be some sort of carnival, I was extremely happy because that was the big difference between 2021 and 2022. 2021 there was no carnival. 2022 here we were having a taste of carnival. So I thought that it would have been an easier and easier fit for us to be able to go to the sponsors, let them know what we did in 2021, get them to buy into what we were doing. However, the challenges of sponsorship and raising money in 2022 has proven to be even more difficult than 2021. Now, even though we have a template for what we're doing, and there are some people that have actually come on board and understood where we were in 2021, and they understand where we're going in 2022. I have actually projected that 3.9 million people that we reached in 2021, I am saying that we're going to reach. My goal, I set a goal of 10 million people, right? That we have to reach 10 million people in our 2022 show. And when I say that within the first 30 days. So I have set a goal of 10 million. We are well on the way to that 10 million because we had a semi-final show. So we already have numbers coming in from there. We're going to the final, and in all instances, I think we will achieve that 10 million.
And I'm very happy that
I wish we could have gotten $1 from everybody that looking at the show. Unfortunately, we're not at that point yet.
Not yet, but I'm very glad that TTT has seen the worth of engaging with this process. And it also makes me want to ask, though, moving into the possibility of having hybrid events, what are some of those factors that you want to look at in terms of having people there as well as catering to people who are looking virtually? Because some people say that it is hard to mix it, but what are some of those things that come to your mind when you think about those kind of events?
So let me say this. I think that entertainment has changed forever. I think that COVID has changed the way that people entertain themselves. And I don't think that's going to change even in a post-COVID environment. So let us say, for example, 2023, we have an open forum for Carnival. We're back to normal or the new normal or whatever normal we have, but that we have a crowd in front of us. We have now recognized that the biggest audience that we are really projecting our shows to is an international audience. That international audience is a very important audience. Not only an international audience, but a Trinidad and Tobago audience. Just as TTT, and let me say thank you very much to TTT for coming on board. I really am happy that you all have partnered with us, and I look forward to many, many more partnerships with TTT.
But Mr. Singh, just before you talk about that international audience, because I don't want to have you condense what it is you're going to say, so we start with that on the other side of the break. But we go to the break now, showing a little taste of a past performance.
All my friend and me, and all my family, we should love each other endlessly. All who don't like me, and all my enemy, we should be living in harmony. Don't take forever to say we love each other. When God calls on the back, it's so bad. Before it's too late and never have a chance to see each other.
I don't want a four-wheel van. I want a forklift man. A man with plenty of yarn.
She want the Iron Man. She say she love the jump from the Iron Man.
They tell me the young see when it coming to me. A forklift man is all I need. Don't want no 80 wagon on the four-wheel. Me want a forklift man.
Well, I guess that leaves me out of the running, but we are going in depth on the Chutney Soca Monarch with the CEO of Southex Event Management, the company, Mr. George Singh. And just before we took the break, Mr. Singh, you were describing, or you were giving us your view that entertainment as we know it has changed forever. And you're looking at the importance of really articulating who is your audience. So I'll let you continue on that note, please, sir.
Right. So the point I was making, right, is that even in if we look at 2023, and we see in 2023 we're going back to some level of normalcy, and let us say you have Chutney Soca Monarch, and you have the Soca Monarch, and the Calypso Monarch, and the Marsh Gras, and all these big shows in front of a live audience. right? I think that people need to recognize that there is a bigger audience out there, that is an online audience that wants the entertainment from Trinidad and Tobago, an audience that we can project the image of not only the brands that we have as sponsors, but brand Trinidad and Tobago. Because when you're talking about an online audience, you're talking about millions of people that can look at the show. So why would we not do something like I mean, we would continue. On my part, I'm saying that Chutney Soca Monarch will always continue to have, even if we go back to the live audience, right? A big live audience, we would still continue to do that live online feed to an international audience and really target them and give them different opportunities to interact with the show.
And does that change the product in the sense that you speak to artists and say, okay, well, we want you to tweak or change what it is you're doing a little bit, keeping that international audience in mind? How does that affect your interaction with the artists?
So one of the things I try not to do within Chutney Soca Monarch is to censor people or tell them how to do their music. I am not a musician. We produce a show, yes, and we've been doing it for a long time. And we do have, I do try to talk to the artists to let them know that, listen, I don't think they should do this, and I think they should do that, and that kind of thing. Whether they listen is another thing, right? But definitely, I think that people are going to do their thing, you know, and really and truly, I think Chutney Soca music is a very popular music. It is popular internationally. You know, I recently heard, I'm sorry to say this here, I recently heard someone refer to Chutney music as rubbish, right? But really and truly, if you travel and you go into areas where the Caribbean diaspora is, it is predominantly soca and chutney music that people are listening to. These are the most popular genres of music that people play and listen to and dance to anywhere in the world you go, that you will find Caribbean groups of people. So this music, as far as I'm concerned, is very, very popular. Look at that 4x4 song that you just had as a clip of, right? That is probably one of the most popular songs in Trinidad and Tobago today, right? It's playing on every radio station, right? So I mean, Chutney Soca music is here to stay. Chutney Soca Monarch has been around for 27 years. It will continue to prosper. Once I am around, I will make sure of that, right? And I will continue to make sure that it is one of the best produced shows in Carnival.
And in terms of that artistry and mixing it with dollars and cents, what are some of those success stories that you've had over the past 27 years? So these are people who have been involved in the show and they've gone on to do so much more.
So there are many success stories of Chutney Soca Monarch. I mean, I could refer to so many. Ricky Jai was one of our multiple winners. He now lives in New York. Hiralal Rampatap, I remember him giving me a story once about the number of gigs that he had just after winning Chutney Soca Monarch. And you know, these artists, and even though Hiralal won, there was a year that he won, I'm not sure if he won back-to-back years, but for 3 years straight, Hiralal Rampatap was traveling based on the fact that he won Chutney Soca Monarch. When Ravi B won Chutney Soca Monarch, I met Ravi B in the TTT car park the Monday after the final. And Ravi came up to me and he said, George, I would have never believed that winning Chutney Soca Monarch would make such a difference in my life. And that was the Monday morning after the show. That was Saturday night. So he had barely gone 48 hours and he had already seen the value of winning Chutney Soca Monarch. When you look at GI, our most recent winner, right, who is now performing for substantial, I don't want to call it figure, but he's getting a nice figure when he travels. He has gigs that are booked back to back from the weekend after Carnival. So these guys are traveling, they're performing, they're flying the flag of Trinidad and Tobago, they're promoting Trinidad and Tobago, and they are ambassadors of our country and of our music.
And I like the fact that you just spoke about Big Band Karma and saying, okay, well, Ravi B won this, and he said this has made so much a difference in his life. But at the same time, balancing business and the family life. How has that been for you at this point in time during the pandemic, saying, okay, well, this is something that I need to be doing. You have the show coming up. What has that been like for you?
So you're talking about me personally, right?
Yes, you thanks.
So I have to say that the pandemic has now, our business is entertainment. It's not only entertainment, but it's conference management, meeting management, concert management. And every one of those areas that I've just talked about there to you, has suffered in the pandemic. So for 2 years, going in March will make it 2 years. For 1 year out of those 2 years, we were actually at zero income, absolute zero. So it was a very difficult navigation through those times. Even since March of 2021 to now, our income is still at between 10 to 25% of normal income. So that alone can tell you that it's been very, very difficult to navigate through all the expenses that we have, the bills to pay, that kind of thing. Definitely not meeting them. But I believe in what we do. I believe that we have a good product. I believe in the service that we give. And I think that we have positioned ourselves because of all the things that we've been doing during the pandemic. I think that we have positioned ourselves to come out of this, of when this pandemic ends, to come out in a much faster way and a bigger way than most other people who may be involved in the same type of business as we are.
And it seems as though, and from what I'm hearing, it seems as though you're very optimistic of the future. And you, like you said, you've positioned yourself in a place to take opportunity as soon as that space is there or a larger window is there. Is there something that you can let out of the bag? What is next? What do you have in store?
The one thing I will tell you is I am definitely an optimistic person. Sometimes my optimism gets me in trouble because I say, this is going to happen. I believe this is going to happen. I believe this is where we're going to be. And the pandemic has really hit us for six. Sometimes, you think, okay, we're coming down to the end of it, but we're not really there yet. But I am definitely an eternal optimist. I will always be that. And I think that has been part of the success of our company and the success of where we are today. One interesting thing that we did, which I must talk about, in April of 2021, we introduced a social media show called NAH, right? And it became a social media phenomenon. We started it off as a joke. We started filming it inside of my living room of my house. My wife thought I was going crazy. She looked at it one day and she said, "What is this? Are we making money from this?" And I said, "Well, no, but believe in the product." And I have to tell you, between April and September of 2021, we were able to reach 33 million people across 50 countries by the production of Na. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
And that makes me want to sing. That makes me want to say, nah, Mr. Singh. But George Singh, we want to thank you so much, CEO of Southex Event Management. Looking at what is happening with the Chutney Soca Monarch, we wish you further success. And we actually end with another something for your viewing pleasure. On behalf of the TTT News team, thank you for joining us. This has been In Depth with me, Dike Rostant.
Give me rain, no sunshine, we driving. Now my AC not working and you're quarreling. Make you leave me for a man with a big van. She don't want no 80 wagon. She looking for a 4-wheel van.